Hello, everybody. Wanted to jump on today and talk about um, the unaliving of the CEO, Brian Thompson, for United Healthcare. This case is huge. It's just huge. Um, yeah, I just can't believe it. But anyway, welcome in, guys. I hope you're having an awesome day so far. Hope everyone got a good rest last night. Seems like today's the first day I woke up in quite a while without a lot of news on the Sebastian Rogers case. Um, but we know things are going on in the background there, so that's a good thing, always a good thing. But anyway, let's get started. Um, Brian Thompson was the CEO of United Healthcare, okay? Um, and I'm going to just kind of go into the background because there is breaking news right now. But let's just go into the background of everything that happened. Um, he was unalived outside an entrance. He was unalived with a pew-pew outside an entrance to the New York Hilton Midtown in Manhattan, New York City. And that happened on December 4th, guys, just 5 days ago. He was in the city to attend an annual investors meeting for United Health Group, which is the parent company of United Healthcare. Authorities do believe the attack was not random and are investigating it as an assassination. The shooting occurred early in the morning, and the suspect, described as a white man, fled the scene. And as of December 9th, the assailant has not been apprehended, although there's breaking news now. Thompson has been the CEO since April 2021, and his family reported that he had received threats in the past. Okay. His death received reactions of contempt and mockery towards him, the United Health Group, the American healthcare system, more broadly, particularly in contrast with the universal healthcare systems used in other developed countries. You know, and that's true. Like other countries you can go to provide healthcare for you. You know, I, if I'm not mistaken, and if it's still the case, Finland was one of them. My husband's family was from Finland, and yeah, healthcare was provided by the government. Nothing like we have, right? um, so there's been a lot of anger over, United Healthcare's business practices. Those are the United States health insurance industry at large. Primarily, their strategy to deny coverage to clients. So there's been a lot of anger. Okay. And I just want to preface this by saying no matter how you feel about something, you should not take things into your own hands, become a vigilante, an activist, I guess is more the word that I would use, not vigilante, an activist, and go and take a pew-pew and hurt somebody or unalive them. There's no excuse for that, in my opinion. It should never happen. It's my opinion. So Thompson was the chief executive officer for the United Healthcare, the insurance arm of United Health Group, from April 2021 until December 4th when he passed away. His wife Paulette told NBC News that threats had been made on his life related to lack of coverage. So it's been reported that there are lawsuits for insider trading, all that other stuff, but I am not going to go into all that today, guys, because the thing here is that a man has lost his life, right? If there were other things legally against him, then he should have been held, had a trial in a court of law. That's my opinion. So the assailant arrived in New York City on November 24th on a Greyhound bus. The bus route began in Atlanta, but authorities do not know from which city or town he boarded. So I just want to put his picture up there. I mean, there's several different ones, but that's probably one of the best ones for being straight on. Look at him. Okay. Okay. So he checked into the High New York City hostel on the Upper West Side of Manhattan on November 24th with a fake New Jersey identification card, and he paid in cash. He stayed all but one night of the 10 days he was in New York at the hostel, checking out on December 3rd. Which is weird, okay? Because the unaliving didn't happen until December 4th. And it's also been reported that he stayed in a room with two other men. So there could be more involved in this than what we know. Thompson, however, was in New York City for an annual United Health Group investors meeting. He arrived in the city on December 2nd. And on December 4th at around 6:45 a.m. Eastern, Thompson was walking along West 54th Street toward the New York Hilton Midtown Hotel that was hosting the meeting. The assailant, dressed in a light brown or cream-colored hoodie, waited outside the hotel for several minutes. Standing approximately 20 feet away from Thompson when he arrived at the entrance, the assailant fired at him from a suppressed 9mm at least twice, striking him in the back and right calf. Okay. So we do know there are videos of that. Actually, I'm going to show that, but before I do, I just want to tell everybody that this is sensitive information, okay? So if that kind of thing bothers you, you might want to not look at your screen for a couple minutes, okay? I'm going to share my screen. All right. His gun jammed there. Okay. Stop sharing. All right. So, you could see that he was like manually cycling the action. Observers thought that the weapon was malfunctioning. However, it could have, the police theorized that it was a Brugger and Thornet VP9 or its variant, so which are bolt action pew pews. This type of pistol is especially quiet even for a silenced pew-pew due to a lack of semi-automatic firing mechanism. Okay. So it's specifically used for assassination. So then they said that the killer fled the scene on an e-bike. And according to police, he left the city via the George Washington Bridge bus station. He was taken to Mount Sinai West Hospital. Thompson was taken to Mount Sinai West Hospital, where he was pronounced gone at 7:12 a.m., which is really, really sad. I wanted to show timeline here. So at the bottom, Port Authority, the suspect entered New York City by bus on November 24th when a surveillance camera at Port Authority bus terminal caught his arrival. 1335 Avenue of the Americas, Brian was unalived out front of his Hilton Hotel at 6:40 on December 4th. Central Park West, the suspect exited Central Park at 77th Street and Central Park West. At 86th and Columbus Avenue, the suspect ditched the bike and took a taxi to the Port Authority bus facility at 178th Street and Broadway. High New York City Hostel at 891 Amsterdam Avenue. A surveillance camera captured the suspect at the High New York City Hostel. The suspect likely checked in on November 24th and later checked out. He likely checked back in on November 30th. The Port Authority bus facility at 178th Street and Broadway. A suspect boarded a bus out of the city following the shooting, according to the police. So, that was interesting in itself. So, I'm going to just share my screen again and play where they're saying that a man has been held. Okay.
Has obtained new video of the suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO. The video shows Brian Thompson's killer waiting for him moments before the shooting. Detectives say they're optimistic they're closing in, but they still don't know the suspect's name or location. Senior investigative correspondent Erica Tursky joins me now with more. Aaron, what sticks out to you from this video, and what's the latest on this search?
I think the video is interesting because it really plays out what the police have been saying, that the man was lying in wait until Brian Thompson came into his view, and you see it. Other people passed by. He's not interested in other people, but as soon as Brian Thompson comes into his view and the killer sees his mark, that's when he starts moving across 54th Street. And so it's more evidence that this was indeed a targeted killing.
Police are also saying that the gun here was unusual. What more are you hearing about that?
It's unusual because it's not a typical assassin's weapon. It's a veterinary weapon, police believe, because it can fire quietly with that long barrel. And it's used often on ranches or farms if an animal needs to be put down without disturbing the rest of the herd.
Another new picture, guys.
So the authorities are curious about it. They don't have it, but they have tried to trace recent sales of similar weapons. I'm not sure any of that's panned out.
And you mentioned the backlash online against the health insurance agency earlier today. What are they saying, they being investigators, about the writing on the bullets, the monopoly money in the backpack?
They think that all of this is meant to send some kind of a message, and that message seems to be maybe greed or anger about the insurance industry. Will that ultimately point to motive? Maybe. They are also well aware it could all be a ruse to distract. You just don't know. But they still have not.
I did want to mention that, guys, that the backpack was found in Central Park, and it had Monopoly money in it, and a couple of other things, I guess. But Let me see if I can show that picture over the top. Yeah, that was where they found that in Central Park, and that was the backpack. Monopoly money. Go figure, right? Okay, let's continue.
Formally identified a killer here or a suspect. So that's obviously priority one. The rest of this, the evidence is important once they finally get him to build a case.
And maybe important if it helps them find him, but in the meantime,
But it hasn't
nothing
helped them
happens
yet.
until you know actually who did this or who the suspect is at
That's
least.
right.
All right, Aaron Tursky, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So
It's around 6:44.
they said that a man in Altoona, Pennsylvania was stopped with a fake New Jersey ID and is being held for questioning in connection with this unaliving of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Okay. The man had walked into a McDonald's where a witness recognized him from the images circulated by police. The man had a similar gun to the one used in Wednesday's assassination-style killing outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel. So the NYPD is sending detectives to Altoona as we speak. And that's another picture of him. And we saw the video of where he was waiting for him. Police haven't established a motive, but said they haven't uncovered evidence that would show that this unaliving had anything to do with Thompson's private life. It was his work, right? They said that NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch described the attack as brazen and targeted. Very brazen. He was out there in front of everybody, right? It was early morning, but still. And then they released a picture of him looking right through the cab. It's almost like he wanted to, like he's teasing police, right? This picture right here shows the scuba team, and they've actually have been doing this morning or yesterday morning, I guess. So his backpack with a jacket and Monopoly money was found nearby in Central Park, so that's why they were doing that. One of the things I forgot to mention was when they were processing the scene, detectives found the shell casings, and on the shell casings were the words defy, defend, and depose. And I guess those three words are related to the wording. It's like internal knowledge. I think you guys, if you've been in the workforce, there's always like internal knowledge and words that are used wherever you work and whatever whatever industry that you work in. There's always some kind of, I know I worked in the financial sector, and I mean, I did training, I had my own reports, people who reported to me, and I had to convey to them that they could not use the internal terminology to a customer because the customers don't understand that, right? But these three words were instrumental. Evidently, the suspect knew these words because they were internal lingo for the United Healthcare system as far as when they were denying healthcare requests. Okay. So I just want to say that, as we're looking at this, this is a clear picture before everything happened. And I just want to say that before, it sounds like this person that they have in custody had a manifesto, pew pew, that was very similar to the one that was used in the unaliving of CEO Brian Thompson. Okay. And so I want to just say that he also had a fake New Jersey ID. So it sounds very promising that this might be the person, right? Sounds very, very promising. But what I want to say is that please don't, no matter how we feel about the healthcare system, there's never a reason to unalive someone. There are things that you can do. If people are going to be activists, there's nothing wrong with being an activist, right? It's what you do. I mean, the goal in our lives is to make the world a better place, the world around us or the world that we know. Because if everybody did that, the world would be a better place. I don't believe that this suspect was trying to make the world a better place by unaliving the CEO. That may not be a popular opinion, guys, but what I'm saying is it's never okay to unalive someone. Never, ever, ever. There's no reason to take a life. There are other things that can be done. Now, I will say this. In a self-defense situation, each of those cases should be looked at on a case-by-case basis, right? But this situation was not self-defense. It was targeted. It was brazen. He waited. He literally waited. There were other people walking. Let those people walk by. He waited. There were other people right inside the doorway of that hotel. He waited. His goal, his focus was on Brian Thompson. The last thing that I want to say today is that there is a private funeral service being held for Brian Thompson. So just, say a quick prayer. I don't think any of that will be televised. It's going to be private, and I completely understand the family wanting to do that, right? They've had too much coming at them. This isn't the first time Brian was threatened. So evidently the threats were carried out, and the suspect deserves to, if this suspect in Altoona, Pennsylvania is the one that did this, then they deserve to have a trial of their peers, right? Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So that's all I have for this. We'll stay up to date on it. If anything else turns up, I will let you guys know. I want to leave you with my grannyism as always. If it doesn't make the world better, don't do it. Brad Montague. If it doesn't make the world better, don't do it. So thank you guys. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all those who are going to be on the live premiere with me. I appreciate each and every one that will watch it on the replay crew. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next